Hello everyone and welcome to Tarot Reviews with Talula. I'm upstairs in my sacred space today. The weather has just been so beautiful and it's so sunny out that I just wanted to be up here this afternoon. So I apologize with the sun. I am trying to move around and get out of the direct sunlight, but it's going to be a little bit difficult, but I just really wanted to film these up here, so I do apologize for that if that bothers anyone's viewing experience. The deck that we're going to review today is the Archeon Tarot by Lantz. It's produced by US Game Systems. And this deck, along with the Deviant Moon Tarot deck, were the first tarot decks, also along with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, that I purchased. So the Deviant Moon and the Archeon Tarot are very near and dear to my heart. I dearly love both decks. And I have a very deep connection with the Archeon Tarot, so I'm really excited to do this review today. This is an amazing deck. But before I start the review, I do want to let everyone know that there is nudity in this deck. So if that bothers you, got crazy hair going on right there. If nudity bothers you in any way, or you don't want to see nudity in your tarot decks, or you have children in the room with you and you don't want them to see any of these images, there is artistic nudity in this deck, just so that everyone knows before we get going. I'm trying this new system where I'm attempting to show you every card in the deck and see if you guys like this for the reviews or not. We'll see how it goes. I've separated all the cards, so this is what the backing of the Archeon Tarot deck looks like. It's beautiful, and you can use reversals, and in the little white book that accompanies the deck, Lantz recommends that you do use reversals. This is a typical little white book. I think the meanings are a little bit more concise and a little clearer if this is going to be your first deck. So that's very helpful. And there is the Celtic cross spread in the back that he gives you to work with. So if you're new to tarot, that can be a good introduction to that for you. He does talk a little bit at the beginning about symbolism and the purpose of this deck and why he created it, and it's actually really, really beautiful. You can see here he talks about that. So I definitely recommend giving that a read because it helps you to know why he chose the images he chose for the deck and the type of artwork he chose to use. So the cards are pretty small. This is the Steampunk Tarot, and this is the Archeon Tarot. So you can see they're a bit slimmer lengthwise than the Steampunk Tarot. And we start with the Fool, the Magician. This isn't my favorite image of the Magician. The High Priestess. I love this image though. The Empress. The Emperor. Again, love this image. The symbolism that he has chosen is just really beautiful. The Hierophant. And I have to say, when I first opened up this deck and started working with it, the images were just really, I just connected with them. They were so striking and so beautiful to me that I knew that tarot was, was my home system, as I like to call it. It was my home base for divination tools because I just had such an amazing experience with this deck. It was incredible. And it's one of the first decks that I used to read for other people, some of my friends and family at that time. Obviously not, I wasn't doing it for money, I was practicing. And just had incredible experiences with that as well. So this deck, I think this is one of those decks where you either absolutely love it and it's extremely powerful for you, or it isn't at all. Okay, sorry about that. So the last image we looked at was the Hierophant before I went off. These images are just so beautiful to me. The Lovers. So as you can see, there is a good sized border around the deck. I do wish the images were a little bit larger, but I like the colors and the atmosphere that he chose for the borders. I think they're really beautiful. And you can see that in the border, he has some images as well that can help trigger your subconscious. I love the Chariot. Oh my god, this is just so beautiful in this deck. Like, this image of the Chariot is like it's one of the ones that's very different. Like, I compare it to all the other decks I have, and it's like, do you measure up or not? Strength. Interesting that here we have a man and a lion instead of a woman. The Hermit. I love this image. The Wheel of Fortune. Justice. The Hanged Man. Again, love this image. It's very haunting. It's one of the reasons why I purchased this deck is from that image. Death. I love this image too. Temperance. So he chose to represent this with the lion, tiger and the lamb, which I find interesting. The Devil. This isn't one of my favorite representations of the Devil. I do like it better than the Rider-Waite-Smith version, however. I just feel like it gets you in touch with that Pan energy. The Tower. I love this image. The Star. Literally the star. The Moon. Love this image of the moon too. I just love this image so much more than the Rider-Waite-Smith image. The Sun. Judgment. And the World, which he chose a tree, with the Tree of Life. Just going back to Judgment really quick. If you are familiar with any of the teachings in Revelation, like I got what he meant by the trumpets with Judgment, and that really rang true for me, and so I was able to understand this card by that. If you're not familiar with Revelation or any of the other books in the Bible, you might be a little like, what is this? This is just a woman with wings. Like, she has a sword. What the heck? But so again, it's the symbolism that he chose. I think it's one of those things where it either strikes home for you or it doesn't. So this will be a deck that you either love or you hate. For these suits, let me see how I'm doing in time. I wanted to start with the swords because this is one of my favorite representations as a whole of the suit of swords in any of the decks that I own and work with. Here's the Ace of Swords, the Two of Swords, the Three of Swords. That's not my favorite representation of the swords, but as far as the suit as a whole, I really love the way that he chose to represent them. The Four of Swords, the Five of Swords. I think this is one of the most popular images in the deck. It's absolutely beautiful. Six of Swords, Seven of Swords, Eight of Swords. Another image that I absolutely love, Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords. And for the court cards, he has heralds, knights, queens, and kings. There's the Herald of Swords. Here's the Knight of Swords. She's female in a suit. The Queen of Swords. And the King of Swords. So that is the sword suit. I'll do wands next. Here's the Ace of Wands. Two of Wands. Three of Wands. Love this image. Four of Wands. Another gorgeous one. Five of Wands. Six of Wands. And I love this image. Seven of Wands. Eight. Nine. A little bit as we get higher up with the wands, I feel like, 10. I wish there was a little bit more than just that, but that's fine. Understand. Here's the Herald of Wands. She reminds me of like a pixie or something like that. The Knight of Wands is male in this suit. Queen. And the King. For the cup suit, Ace. Two. I like the 3 of Cups in this deck. 3. And I like the 4 as well. For some reason, this image, I just really get what the meaning of the card is when I look at that. And I don't know why, because it's just 4 cups really, but I love that imagery. 5 of Cups. I think this is another great one. 6 of Cups. I love the 7 of Cups in this one. 8. 9. 10. This one's beautiful as well. And here we have the Herald. The Knight is male. The Queen looks like Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't know what's going on with that. And here's the King of Cups. I like this king. And finally, for the Pentacles suit, here's the Ace. It's his disc image that he uses on the back of the cards. Labyrinth disc. 2. I think this one's gorgeous. 3. The 4 of Pentacles. I love this one. Reminds me of a Klimt piece or something like that. 5 of Pentacles. 6. I'm not in love with that, but it is what it is. 7. I think if you're working intuitively, like, you need the images, you know. 8. 9. 10. Here's the Herald. He's male in this one. The Knight. The Queen. I like this Queen. And then the King. The court card images in general aren't my absolute favorite images for court cards, but I do think that you get the feeling that you should get, or at least that helps me to be able to read for others well and for myself. The cards themselves are really slippery. As you can see, like, they're very shiny. They don't scratch a whole ton, but they do kind of like tend to fall all over the place, so you have to make sure you're working on a really clean, flat surface. Excuse me, when you're working with these cards. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. So the Archeon Tarot, the Archeon Tarot by Timothy Lantz definitely is one of my favorite decks. Again, like I said, it's just as soon as I started working with this deck, it was just such a great introduction to tarot for me because I had such a connection with the images and I understood the messages that the images were trying to get across very clearly. And this deck, in a way, was able to read very honestly for me in a way that didn't scare me is not the right word, but that didn't freak me out as much as Deviant Moon Tarot images did. So I used this deck a lot when I first started working with tarot. A lot. And like I said, the Little White Book is a typical Little White Book, but I do think that some of his explanations are very helpful and a little bit more clear and to the point than you get with some of the little books like Los Scarabos. I know I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry. Their decks, they don't really give you like definitive meanings. So I definitely appreciate that in this Little White Book, you at least do get some clarity with the meanings. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the Archeon Tarot. If you don't mind nudity in your deck and you're open to some different representations of some of the cards, you'll probably find this deck a wonderful piece to add to your tarot collection. If you're just starting out with tarot, for me anyhow, it was a wonderful first exposure to tarot and the system and how it was going to work for me. And on the whole, I just can't say enough good about the Archeon Tarot deck. I absolutely love it. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.